Hello students, today we are going to start the second law of thermodynamics. In the first law we have seen that it was just a generalization of the law of conservation of energy, and there were many limitations to the law. According to this law, work and heat were equivalent to each other. Work can be converted to heat and heat can be converted to work. But we know that it is not possible to convert all heat into work. So this was the first limitation. The second limitation was that it makes no difference between heat and work. Okay, so this was the second limitation, means we can add by adding or withdrawing heat from a system or doing work from the system. Means doing work or adding heat was totally the same thing according to the first law. And the main important thing is, the main drawback of the law is that it did not impose any restriction on the process which are not practically possible by nature. Suppose if I put a hot object in water, then the hot object will become cold and water will become hot. This we all know. But if the reverse happens ever, that the hot object becomes more hot and the cold object becomes more cold, then according to first law, it is not impossible. Okay, this process is practically impossible, we know, but there is no such imposition of this process according to the first law. The law does not indicate the direction of flow of heat. For example, when two bodies at different temperature are placed in contact, so it does not tell from which body the heat will flow, from hot to cold or cold to hot. Okay, so if ever heat flows from cold to hot, then also there will be no problem according to the first law, because in either case the energy will be conserved. Okay, so this is the second limitation. To curb out these limitations, there came the second law. Now this second law was interpreted, was formulated by different scientists in their own nature, what they have understood. Because first law says, first law is just a conservation of energy, and in the second law we will see that in this law the scientists have given the statements which tells us what cannot be done. The second law contains a few statements which says what is not possible. Means a negative statement, you can say, what is not possible. So what is not possible? Let us see. According to Kelvin-Planck statement, he said that it is not possible to convert all heat given to a system into work. Means, suppose I have a system, I provide heat to the system, and it is not possible that entire heat given to the system will be converted to work. Some amount of heat has to be wasted. Some amount of heat has to be wasted. All heat taken from a source cannot be converted into work. Some amount of heat has to be given to the sink. This was the concept of Kelvin-Planck statement. Now, Clausius statement says that it is impossible to transfer heat from a cold body without expenditure of work into the hot body. For example, as we see in our refrigerator, freeze, whatever you call it, at home, you keep a body in it and the body becomes cooler and cooler and cooler. Okay? If you keep an apple in the freeze, if you after 5 seconds, after 1 minute, you record the temperature, you will see the slowly the temperature is falling. What is the refrigerator doing? Actually, it is extracting heat from the objects which is inside it. You can say it is extracting heat from the cold body, and it is giving out the heat to the surrounding, which is obviously hotter than the temperature inside the fridge. So in short, we can say there is a transfer of heat from a cold body to a hot body. But the question is, can this be done if we don't provide electricity? If we don't provide any external agency like current, can this fridge work? The obvious answer is no. So this is actually the Clausius statement. He told that it is impossible to transfer heat from a cold body to a hot body without expenditure of work. Means it can be done. He didn't say that it is not possible at all. He told that yes, we can take out heat from a cold body and transfer to the hot body. We can do that. But for that, we have to take the help of some external agency source, external energy source, which is generally the current electricity in our homes that we use in the fridge. A fridge can do that, means it can take out heat from the cold body and supply it to the hot body, that is the surrounding, but at the cost of current. Okay? So this is the external work done. Details of the refrigeration we will study at the last of this chapter. Now let's go ahead. Reversible and irreversible process. See, generally the process we see around us are irreversible. Nature always favors irreversible process. A process in which a reversible process is one in which can be reversed in a way that all changes taking place are exactly repeated. Okay? Means reversible process means suppose from A you made B and again from B you made C. So reversible process means what? From C you will get B and from B you will get A. That is reversible process. Okay? Now, but this is only possible if there is no loss of energy, no dissipation of energy in the form of friction or anything, resistance of the wire, heat produced. If there is no, because the energy lost, you can't capture it back. So that is why this is an ideal case. Okay? So this is an ideal case, and as you can see, it happens only when there is no dissipation of energy in the form of any way. So these conditions are never realized. It is not possible that there will be energy conversion and there is no loss of energy, no dissipation of energy. But if a process takes place very slowly, very slowly, so that the dissipative forces are negligible, then we can relate it as a reversible process. But practically this is not possible. This concept is just an ideal concept. So what process we see in nature? That is irreversible. And it is the law of nature that irreversibility is the law of nature. Anything, all process, conduction, radiation, radioactivity, everything are irreversible. Maximum of the chemical reactions are irreversible. Nuclear reactions are irreversible. Okay? Heat, conduction, radiation, these are all irreversible. So that is the rule of reversibility. And now we are going to study about today very short just the introduction of heat engine, and in the next class you will get the complete idea of heat engine. Heat engine. Any cyclic device by which heat is converted into mechanical work is called a heat engine. Okay, this is a heat engine. So what is a heat engine? A device that converts heat into work. Heat is given to the system and the system takes the heat, performs work, and the remaining heat is given. So as you can see here, as you can see in the picture, this is the source that provides heat, and this is the working substance. This is the working substance that does work. And so how much heat it is getting? The source is providing Q1 heat, and W is the work done. So, and the remaining heat, that is Q1 minus W, that is Q2. So what is Q2? Q2 is actually Q1 minus W. From here you can get Q2 is Q1 minus W, or Q1 minus W is the heat that is given to the sink. So remaining heat that is not utilized is given to the sink. So this is the work done. So how much is work done? Suppose a source provides Q1 heat and to the working substance, and the work done by it is Q2. Then how much is the work done? The heat given to the sink is Q2. Then what is it? How much is the work done? The work done is Q1 minus Q2. Now efficiency. Efficiency of heat engine. Heat engine efficiency is that W minus Q1. Efficiency is what? How much work is done and how much heat I have provided. So this is the formula for efficiency. How much work has been done by the system and how much heat I have provided. So I have provided here Q1 heat and the work done is W. So the efficiency is W by Q1. And what is Q1? W, Q1 minus Q2. So what we get? We get that efficiency is 1 minus Q2 by Q1. Now, according to Kelvin-Planck statement, Q2 cannot be 0. So if Q2 cannot be 0, so efficiency of any heat engine cannot be 1 or 100%. Okay? So this is all about. Now, Carnot given an idea about the reversible engine, and he told that an engine will take heat from the hot body, converts a part of it into work and gives the rest to the cold body, returning to its initial state. So this was the concept of Carnot. Okay? So here we have done this thing. So this is the concept of Carnot. So in next class we will see in detail about the Carnot engine. Okay students, have a nice day.